The much anticipated Gravity from director Alfonso Cuarón is finally upon us. I got to tell you something. As a kid, I always aspired to be an astronaut until all my allergies and my eyes went bad and everything. I no longer want to be an astronaut after seeing this movie. The word that comes to mind is harrowing.
Absolutely. And I think it's pretty easy to predict that this is going to be an intense ride. You are really gripping the movie theater seats and you're scratching
I told Vic
them.
at the start of the screening not to gasp or say, oh my God. He wasn't allowed to do either, but you did both.
I did, and I couldn't help it because your breath is literally sucked out of your body. You are right in the cockpit of the spacecraft. You're right inside of the spacesuit with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. They give terrific performances here, but really the star of this film is the creation of this interstellar orbit that we're on, and we get to feel the sensation of actually floating and being gravity-less for a big chunk of the film, and also having to dodge all kinds of satellite shrapnel, which is one of the scariest things I could ever imagine.
You know, this movie's got two problems. You know, it's my job on the show to find all the problems.
Please tell us the problem.
Well, one is that it could have been movie stars in space because Sandra Bullock and George Clooney are obviously very strong presences with lots of history in Hollywood.
Yes.
But to the film's testament, I kind of forgot that they were big stars, and I think that happens in good films with big stars.
I can't breathe.
The other problem is there's so much critical acclaim around this movie going into the theater that I'm sitting down and I'm like, why has everyone loved this so much? Why has everyone been tweeting so many positive things about it? Why have so many critics been raving about this? So the whole time I'm holding the film up to an unfair standard.
Sure.
It still works. It's still scary as hell.
Yeah.
I still had a hell of a lot of fun. I don't know if you could call it fun.
Yeah.
But I walked out of the theater.
It's gripping, man.
My sphincter was like this at certain junctures in this thing. You know, the craft of the movie disappears and you're just there. But if you start looking at the craft in this film, I don't know how some of these shots were pulled off.
Well,
I don't know how they filmed this thing. I can't wait to see this on Blu-ray
Yeah, you're gonna
to
want to
see how they did all this.
Well, this is the thing with this film. Not only was it getting all this critical praise and buzz, and we were building up our expectations for it, but Cuarón also made Children of Men, which is one of my favorite science fiction films of all time. And he is now establishing a name for himself for creating seamless special effects, and that's exactly what we get here. We're not going to be able to see characters in spacesuits doing spacewalks and not compare it to Gravity, because right now this is state of the art.
You must detach. If you don't detach, that arm's going to carry you too far.
And there are moments when it feels torturous, almost like 127 hours, when it's like, how much more is the director going to put this poor woman through? She goes through everything, and it's so simple. It's a simple story. It's a simple film. It's so straightforward that while you're watching it, you're kind of unpacking it as metaphor, and so your brain is kind of working on two levels while you're watching this thing. I can't give this a 10 until I see it 4 more times, but it gets a 9.5 from me.
He gets a 9 from me. Really enjoyed it too.